I've been on Booktube for a month and a half now as I'm making this video, and in that time I have produced 10 videos. So I'm here to document what I learned in that process, how I got from my first video where we had terrible audio, books blocking the camera, monotone, boring voice, to my latest video, the Arsène Lupin video, where we have editing, books not blocking the video, mainly because there was only one book in that video, but my point still stands. And my voice actually sounds more animated, and I actually like how it sounded, sort of, and where I still have to go, and what I've learned for this video number 11. So to document my journey, I'll go through each of the videos that I've made so far and what I learned from them. Video number 1 was the 13 districts, 13 books, Hunger Games video. It wasn't technically my first video because A, there were a couple of videos from a couple of years ago, and B, I actually made the Stags short for that before that video, and I'll briefly touch on that later. However, filming that video, I just found a book that I thought fit each of the 13 districts in the Hunger Games series, got them all together and said, here's the district, here's the theme, here's the book that I think fits it the best out of everything that I own, here's why, next. Wash, rinse, repeat. And it did quite well click-wise, considering that was the first video on the channel. The problem was that it very quickly stagnated. It's since I started Booktube, it is still my most viewed video at 195 views to date and 10 likes. And that 10 likes is tied with my 2023 top 10 video. The problem was that retention time was an issue, and it still is. I'm not quite sure how to fix that yet. But it did suffer from being my first video. The reason why it probably got so much traction was, as I acknowledged in the video, that was the time that the Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the Hunger Games prequel movie, came out. And so that was one of the reasons why I thought that would be a good video to make. It's a series that I was interested in and I knew about, so it's a video I could make. It felt right for me. And I did some searching and it didn't seem like anybody had done it, so I thought I'll fill that gap. I just wish that it had been even my 10th video instead of my first. I noticed in that video I sounded boring, monotone, and as I said, as I was reviewing the books, I put them in front of me too close to the camera, so over time they stacked up and blocked the camera, and I only noticed that part way through the video, had to move them. And because I hadn't gotten into editing yet, I couldn't cut that out. So if I wanted to fix that problem, I would have to start all over again. And obviously at the time of filming that video, I didn't want to do that. I didn't feel like doing that. So I just kept on chugging along and then bunged it on YouTube and called it a day. Another thing I noticed on that video was just the camera, microphone rather, on my iPad just wasn't cutting it. I did need a proper microphone, because when I watch YouTube videos sometimes, yes, I will click away if the sound bothers me. So evidently I did need a microphone. Which brings us to video number 2, which was my November reading wrap up. And that was the first video where I got this lapel mic. And so I used that and I noticed that the sound was better. The only other thing I had to say about that video, it didn't really do very well. However, my December wrap-up has done better, noticeably better than that. However, before posting that, I did do a short previewing all of the books, and that didn't really do very well, even compared to my Stags short. And what I later found out was that if your subscribers don't watch your shorts, that's going to be a problem, and the shorts aren't going to be spread very far, which is probably true of longs as well. But the thing is that subscribers don't get notified of shorts apparently in the same way that they do the long videos. So people were getting recommended my shorts So YouTube thought the subscribers aren't watching the shorts, therefore the shorts are bad. When how could they if they didn't even know the shorts existed? Also, my stag short in hindsight felt kind of lazy because due to the 1 minute formula, you couldn't talk much. So I wrote up a brief summary of the book and then just gave my rating out of 5 stars. So there wasn't really much content that was really mine in that short. The reason I made that short was because a later book in the series was going to show up in the November wrap-up. But I didn't even do a short for book 2 to catch up to book 3 in the wrap-up because of how I felt about the first short. During that time, I also made another short about the Death Note companions that, for similar reasons of time constraints, would have been better as a long-form video. So, in summary, my second video taught me more about shorts and how I probably shouldn't do them. That's why I haven't done any more shorts aside from one brief other reaction sort of short, which again nobody cared about. So yeah, that's why I'm not doing shorts anymore. I tried it, I heard it was good for newbies, but perhaps not in the booktube space. Video number 3 is my book haul part 1. And the thumbnail photo for that one, I didn't take myself. My support worker Freya took that for me. And she's taken a couple more. Any photo where you can see me sitting, not just my face, but me. And there's a bunch of books there, like book haul part 2. And my December wrap-up, she took those photos for me. So thank you, Freya, for taking my thumbnail photos. What I learned from that video, not much. People like book hauls, that's a thing, but I think this video taught me more about how I feel about book hauls and how I want to be as a booktuber. Because as I acknowledge in that video, either that video or part 2, nobody is really transparent about how much they spend on books or how much these books cost. And I think that is kind of important. And I want to be real, and I don't want to be buying books just so I can make a book haul video that everybody will like. I don't want to become materialistic. I want to be real and genuine in my booktube channel. And so I think making that video taught me more about how I feel about booktube and what kind of booktuber I want to be. And just what it means to be genuine and transparent and real in this space. So that doesn't mean I don't want to make book hauls, but I'm not going to go out book shopping just to make a book haul. It's true that I bought books since that book haul that aren't going to show up in any book haul because I haven't bought a ton of books. They're kind of been trickling in through Amazon and whatnot. Or, new bookshops as opposed to secondhand, which are more pricey and therefore I can't buy 10, 20 books at a time. So, yeah, that's what that video and the second part of the book haul really taught me. Video number 4 was my Andy Griffith story reaction. And that was the first video I made where I listened to it back and I thought, wow, I actually like the way I sound in this one. How is that possible? Because I'm pretty sure for as long as I can remember, I did not like the sound of my voice. I did not like the way it sounded. But in that video, I actually sort of like the way I sounded. That video was not planned. Unlike the videos that came before it, I didn't know I was going to end up making that one. It was a reaction video. I read this short story and I thought, wow, that's crazy. I gotta make a video on that. And so I did. And that might have bled through into the video and why it sounded more authentic, more real. More real, more genuine than the ones that came before it. Because it was spontaneous and not so scripted or planned. I am normally someone who isn't a very spontaneous person. I do need to plan things out, but this also taught me that there will be times when you'll just not expect to be making a video, but you will anyway. And another one of my videos that I actually liked the sound of myself in, the Arsène Lupin video, was the same story. That was a spontaneous reaction video. I read the story and thought, wow, I've got to talk about this. Video number 5 was part 2 of the book haul, and I won't talk about that much because I already same sort of situation as the first one, except to say that I found that my thumbnail photo in that one was a bit busy in the background, so that's something to avoid in future. Number 6. Video number 6 is the Midnight Library review. And this one I learned from more in the form of how it was received and what I did with it. Because this is the first video that I actually shared elsewhere aside from just my private Discord server. I'm a member of Criminoli's Discord server. Criminoli is a booktube creator that I quite respect. I like his content. He feels genuine and real, and sort of in a way that I want to be genuine, real. And so I've been active in that server, and so I'm not usually very active in large Discord servers. I think a server has like 900 members. And so this video, my Midnight Library review, when I shared it in that server, and Criminoli himself commented on that, which I'm quite flattered by, and that taught me the value of networking, and it helped me reach out to other creators in that server, asking them for advice, just engaging with them, talking about what I was reading, what books I bought. So that got me, that video and more Criminoli server helped me to get more involved in the booktube community. That video was also still rather awkward, so it really showed me, as well as everything that came before it, that I really needed to edit videos. I need to be able to cut out some of the awkward bits and also have the freedom to stop and start filming as I wish, and be able to add things in later that I forgot, because there were definitely things that I wanted to touch on in there that I forgot to mention when I was doing the take, and so they didn't make it into the video, and that's really unfortunate. I tried iMovie, I tried Splice before they made it the stupid subscription thing, and neither of those did it for me. So I knew I needed to get something better. And so again, taking advantage of my place in the community, I asked for some recommendations for editing software, editing apps on iPad, and got a couple of recommendations. Video number 7 was Heartstopper Volume 5. And this is kind of similar to Midnight Library. Again, I still needed to do some editing, still some things I forgot. That one actually did well, again, because that book was just recently released at the time of making it. That one was like the Andy Griffith story. It was a bit of a reaction video because I filmed it after I finished reading the book, because there were just things that I felt I had to talk about. And that was trying a different sort of style of review, I suppose. It's sort of a review, but not really. I don't know. So not much more that I learned from that one besides what I learned from the Midnight Library. Video number 8 was Best of 2023. This is the first video where I made the thumbnail using a thumbnail app, and I think it turned out better. There are also some other things that I had learned from other YouTube videos about starting your channel, tips for growing your channel, getting more views and so on, getting more subs, all those sort of things that I had been watching that I implemented. For example, actually saying like and subscribe. And when you know, I got a few more subscribers from that video than I had previously. I got like 6 subscribers for my video, which in the future might not sound like much, but I have 34 subs as of today. So I reckon I got like 23 at the time of that video, and I got like 6 more from the 2023 best of video. So first, just from saying please like and subscribe, which was something that I'd heard actually works, actually helps. Second thing that might have helped was, as I said, a better thumbnail using the app, and hopefully they've gotten better since. And the third thing that probably helped was the fact that top 10 of 2023, best of 2023, is a thing that pretty much everybody on Booktube is going to be doing. It's a very topical subject, like how my Hunger Games video was at the time of the Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes movie release. So a topical video, a format that people are familiar with. Another thing that I've implemented in that video and my wrap-up videos and any other video where multiple books are mentioned is something that Criminoli mentioned in his tips for new booktubers video, and that was to list the books in the video, because people searching for those books will have your video show up in their search. And according to my analytics, I can see what search terms people searched for when they found my video that way. And yeah, a lot of it is the authors and the books that are mentioned in the video are what drew them to that video. But they wouldn't have done that if I hadn't mentioned them in the description. Number 9 is my December wrap-up. And this is the first video where I actually had an editing app, that being LumaFusion, which I had played around with a little bit beforehand, so I would be able to use it. It would work. And secondly, what I could do with it, I could put into my video. So you'll see there's some text in the video, and I was able to cut out some awkward bits. I was able to stop filming and start filming and put multiple clips together in the same video, so it didn't all have to be one take. I felt more comfortable filming since that, because I know that I don't have to do one perfect take, and if I forget to mention something, I can pop it in later. I don't have to either just suck it up or restart the whole thing and pray I don't forget anything else during take 2. So it's taking some of that pressure off. It's also just building a skill that I hope to develop further, because there's more to editing than just chucking text in and cutting out all the dodgy bits, So hopefully, as I become more comfortable with the LumaFusion app, I'll be able to use some more techniques, broaden all the techniques that I can use, and just get better. Hopefully make some better videos. Lastly, number 10 was my Arsène Lupin Persona 5 Joker video. And from that one, again, I liked how I sounded in that video. It's definitely a lot better than my Hunger Games video, which was where we started. There are, however, still a couple of things that I noticed in that video and in my other ones. Mainly the camera angle. In that Arsène Lupin video, you're practically looking up my nose, which is probably not what people want to be looking at. Another technique that I have learned and implemented in that video was encouraging people to subscribe based on future content, that being the Phantom Thieves themed recommendation video that I plan to make. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that sort of thing. And call to action is what a lot of these tips for beginner YouTubers tutorials are calling, something like that. So subscribe to the video because this reason. In my private Discord server and a couple of other servers that I shared this in, this video received a couple of reactions from people who really like Persona 5, and I didn't know they liked that. So I have at least 2 or 3 more Persona 5 themed videos planned. So hopefully that's a sign that those will do alright. So that's the 10 videos and what I sort of learned along each step of the way. What is there still to be worked on? Well, as I mentioned, the camera angle. It's not great in my latest video, and even other videos like my December wrap-up, it's still not great. How have I been trying to fix that? Well, before every video, I have been taking selfies to see how I look where I'm sitting, because due to my extreme nearsightedness, when I'm filming, I can't actually see clearly, even though my iPad is, 50 centimeters in front of me, which probably doesn't sound like a very big distance to you, but I can't really clearly see myself on the screen. I can't see if the angle is good. I can't see if my eyes are moving around the place. I can't see, well, if something is clipped out of frame. So the only way for me to know what the angle is going to look like, what the lighting is going to look like before I start, is to take some selfies using the 10-second timed feature to get into position before it takes the photo to see how it looks. So for the first time when doing this video, I put my tablet stand, which I use to hold my tablet in place, on top of a wooden box to give it a bit more height, so that you're not looking up at me so much, and hopefully not looking up my nose, or hopefully not looking like I'm staring into space half the time. The other major issue that plagued my videos was lighting, because where I sit when I film most of my videos, except for the book haul, is at my dining table, and unfortunately the light is behind me and to the left. So I'm not really being lit from the front, and so it looks really dark. So what I did was I turned on my kitchen light, which is in front of me, to hopefully light my face from the front, so hopefully I look better. I know there is still a lot to work on. Like, as I said, I want to learn more sophisticated editing, and I need to figure out how to pace my speech, because in some points I sound too slow, and other points I sound too fast, or like I'm mumbling and you can't quite clearly hear all of the words that I'm saying. Also, I'd like to figure out how to play with my voice a bit more. I watched some videos on that to hopefully fix the monotony of my top 10 and wrap up and those sorts of videos, the less spontaneous ones. So that's something that I need to work on. So if you're a booktuber or a YouTuber and you're watching this and you've got some tips and advice, please tell me. I'd love to know. I'd be really grateful for any feedback, any help that you could give. With that said, thank you for joining me thus far on my Booktube journey, and I would be honoured if you'd all continue to watch me learn and grow throughout this year and beyond. Please like and subscribe to follow me on my Booktube journey. And with that, of course, as always, do lots of maths, read lots of books, and you're sure to have an enlightening day.